She charmed the world as the iconic Sandy in Greece and motivated everyone I'm talking about, to get physical. My next guest is not only an awe-inspiring entertainer, but she considers herself a breast cancer thriver. And she's always been very public about her diagnosis. Today, she's opening up about the recent changes she's made in her own health and the very special anniversary that she is celebrating. Olivia, how are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good. I love speaking with you. And the last time you told us you were feeling really well since your diagnosis of stage 4 breast cancer. I wanted to just make sure you're doing okay today. And where's your health at?
Yes, thank you. I feel very, very grateful that I'm doing well and have been for a while. I'm very lucky enough to be married to a wonderful man who works with plant medicine, and that, I think, has been helping me so much. I formed a foundation so that we can do research into finding kinder ways to treat cancer.
Well, open that up for us a little bit, because I have always been fascinated by plant-based diets and the role they play in helping people's health. What changes have you seen and felt since you've gone plant-based?
Pain, a lot of pain relief and inflammation relief, and just a better feeling of well-being. And we started a foundation, the Olivia and John Foundation Fund, to do proper research into finding cures and kinder ways of treating cancer with cannabis and other plant medicine as we go along. But my husband has been growing it for me for a number of years, and it's made a huge difference.
You married a good man. There's science out there that shows the benefits of a plant-based diet, and they're meaningful. And among them is lowering a person's risk for colon and breast cancer, which is why I think for you it's perfect. And I think it's pretty cool that you're using it.
Yes, well, my family, many members of my family are vegetarian, and I kind of go in and out of it depending on what my body's telling me what I need. But the plant medicine that really helps me is medicinal cannabis that my husband has been growing for me and breeding special cannabinoid variants to help me, and it's working. And that's what my dream is, to find kind of ways to treat people with cancer from the plant kingdom. Because I've been through chemo and I've been through radiation, and I know how hard it is. So that's my dream.
Well, let's get some advice here for everybody. You say that you never imagined living this long, which is a little chilling to hear because you're such an optimist. What is your advice to others who are in the throes of a cancer battle right now?
I think that, I think your mind is a very, very important part of your healing. So to stay really positive does help. Meditation, eating well, keeping a positive mind, obviously doing what you feel is right for your body. Some people choose to go, and I have been through the chemo route and the radiation, and now I'm strictly with vitamins and supplements and cannabis, so I'm feeling really well.
Recently, there was startling data about how many life-saving cancer screenings could have been missed because of COVID. According to the CDC, number of women getting breast and cervical cancer screenings dropped off drastically last year. I'm going to give you the numbers real quick. 87% drop for breast cancer screenings, 84% drop for cervical cancer. I'm stunned. Would you say getting screened timely, in your case, is the reason that you are still sitting here today?
Well, I'm very grateful that I'm here, because I was originally diagnosed in '92 and had surgery, went through a series of chemo, and it didn't come back for another 25 years or so. And I didn't have any more chemo. I had a little bit of radiation and plant medicine, but I understand people are afraid to go out, and they're afraid to go to places where there are a lot of people. I think that's probably the reason that the screenings have dropped. But what I do think is it's very important that women pay attention to their own bodies and examine their breasts on a regular basis and see if there's any changes, so they can go and get it checked out professionally. But I think we need to be responsible and be aware of what's going on inside us and tune in to, lumps and bumps and pains and changes in how you feel. So, but I'm sure, I would imagine it's because people are afraid to go to hospitals and to go out in the world at the moment.
Oh, there's a good reason why people are scared. I just think folks ought to go out and get their screening one way or another. Let me ask, since you brought up COVID, you were having a hard time not being able to see your loved ones in Australia. Have you found new ways to reconnect? Any positives from the time you have to spend at home without?
Oh, yes, yes. You know, for me, I don't know if your life was full of travel, but I think since I was about 16 or 17, I've been traveling in a plane, touring, working, recording. And I think this is the longest time in my whole life since I was a child and since I was pregnant with my daughter that I've been in one place for this long. And for me, it's been wonderful because I didn't really know what hanging out meant.
Right.
Now, I've read more books in this past 18 months than I probably have in my whole life because I've had the time to. I've reconnected with a lot of friends, and my animals are so happy that I'm home every day. Yeah. And that they're my greatest joy. So for me, just being quiet and still and being able to do, paint and read and catch up with my friends has been actually a blessing.
All right, we have to take a break, but up next, how Olivia plans to celebrate the very special anniversary of one of her biggest hits and find out why it almost never happened. Plus, a little something for all you Grease fans. I'm back with actress and singer Olivia Newton-John, who is celebrating a career milestone this year. And we all remember the song and the music video for one of her biggest hits, Physical. Well, this year marks 40 years since its release. And I didn't know this. You said you felt anxious about recording Physical, and you tried to get the record label to stop it. Why was that?
Actually, it was after I'd recorded it, because my friend Stevie Kipner, who's from Australia, wrote the song, and Roger Davies, who was my manager at the time, played it to me. I thought, wow, this is a great song. But I didn't really tune into what the double entendre might have been. So after I recorded it, I kind of freaked out and called Roger and said, I think I've gone too far. I've gone too far. We need to pull this record. He said, honey, it's too late. It's out there and it's doing really well. And it did do very well, and it was an incredible success for me. But I think sometimes in life, the things that you're most afraid of are the things that you need to go forward with. And I've had several experiences of that, things that I was terrified of doing, did them, and they were successful for me. So it was like stepping out of your safety zone,
Well, I'm going to come back to that point in a second, but Physical wasn't supposed to be an exercise video. Was that your idea to convert it?
Yes, because of what I was just telling you.
Oh, my goodness.
You have to change people's idea about what the song is about. So Brian Grant, who was the director that I'd worked with for a long time, said, we've got to change this. We've got to make it amusing, maybe about exercise. What a great idea. And of course, it became even more successful than it probably wouldn't have been had I not done that. So I'm very grateful for the fact of the song, because it really was such a big thing for me. And I'm really extra excited because they're re-releasing it this year. It's the 40th anniversary, and they're re-releasing the whole album, plus a DVD of a concert that I did, a live concert, and also all the videos from Physical, because I think I was the first artist to record a whole video album of every song. So it's kind of exciting that it's going to be coming out again.
Well, I'm excited it's coming up. I got to remind everybody, it spent 10 weeks at #1. It was the biggest hit of the 80s. But you mentioned something tantalizing earlier. You said there were other examples where you didn't want to do something, you did, and it worked.
Yes.
Give me one or two more. I'm fascinated.
Okay, that was Grease. Because,
Grease.
Yes, when they, Helen Reddy, who was a wonderful Australian artist, who was a dear friend, had invited me for dinner. And Alan Carr, who was the producer of Grease and putting together the movie, was at the dinner party and asked and met me, because apparently he thought I might be a possible Sandy. And John Travolta had said that he thought I would be a good Sandy. And so I went to this dinner, and he's saying, I think you'd be great. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't do this. I can't do an American accent. I'm 29. How can I play 18, right? So I put all these obstacles in front of myself as why I shouldn't do it. And then I said to Alan, I'll do it if you let me do a screen test so I can see if I think I can get away with it. And thank goodness I did. And the screen test with John worked, and it became probably the most successful thing I've done. And I was very fearful of doing it. So it just shows you sometimes you just got to step out.
You know, your connection with John Travolta was so powerful that I've got to ask this question for all my Grease fans, staff, including myself. Did you Zoom with John Travolta during quarantine? Are you guys still in touch?
We stayed in touch, and he came and had dinner with us a couple of months ago. And yeah, he'll always be my friend. Of course, we had a wonderful friendship, and we've been through something extraordinary together. And he's a lovely man, so I'm very grateful he's my friend.
Yeah, he is a gem, for sure. Lastly, I got to say, your Instagram is fantastic. Your followers were buzzing when you posted pictures with Grease 2-star Michelle Pfeiffer. Now, I got to say this. You know, a lot of folks think that you are rivals. So set the record straight. Is this a faux fight, or do you actually have a little tension there because you both had to, you both were in that role?
Not at all. I'm a great admirer of Michelle. I think she's a wonderful actress and a sweet person. And I think I probably met her 20 years ago because she did Grease too. But I think she's wonderful. And that was a great moment to see her because I hadn't seen her for many years.
You should do a sing-off.
Yeah, there you go.
Listen, there's a special deluxe CD and DVD set of Physical that's out, as was just mentioned. It's available now in celebration of the 40th anniversary of the album's release. Check it out.
And the other thing I'd like to mention is that Crunch, that is a series of gyms across the world, I believe, and America, and Third Love, we're going to try and set a world record of people doing the leg lifts from the Physical video. So that's the next thing that's coming up. It's pretty exciting.
I better start practicing. I'll get right on it. Olivia, I love you. Good luck. Stay healthy.
Thank you very much. Same to you. Stay well.